This is what an animal tracker would call a sign. It's a sign that an animal's been here. And even though I can't see the animal right now, it would be stupid of me to think that there's no animals in this area when I see a sign. I could go around trying to make up theories of why this animal Scat is here, and somebody maybe transported it from somewhere, or maybe it just developed by itself out of the ground, or maybe it's just a thing that's been put here to fool me into thinking that there were animals. But a reasonable person would see a sign and realize that what it points to was here. We do it naturally every day. Now, you may not know that the tubular shape and brown color points to the fact that it was probably in the dog family, and that the size and the fact that it's been eating these seeds points to the fact that it's probably a wild dog like a coyote. But you would know that there's an animal that's been here because of this sign. You may not understand everything that the sign points to, but you certainly aren't going to sit here and be obsessed with the sign. You might start worrying that there was a coyote nearby. And that would be a reasonable thing, is to recognize that a sign points to something invisible that you may not be able to see, but it points you to that thing. It's the same thing Jesus was talking about when he did signs. We've been studying at Mountain View in the Gospel of John about signs Jesus did. He did things like feeding 5,000 people, like healing people that were lame or blind. And they were signs that pointed to something invisible that was going on as God's kingdom was breaking in. They were signs that pointed to the fact that Jesus was empowered by God and doing the works of the Father that the Father was doing in the power of the Holy Spirit. The signs point beyond themselves. Even things like bread and wine. As I've given those things up for Lent, it's caused me to be more aware of my hunger. And the fact that the hunger that I have for physical food, this is not making me really hungry. The hunger that I have for physical food is something that points to a deeper spiritual reality. It's a sign that points me to a real hunger that Jesus says can only be satisfied by Him. He says He is the bread of life. He is the water of life. He's the one to come to if you're thirsty or hungry. You need to eat His flesh and drink His blood if you want to have life in you. And people misunderstood what Jesus was talking about because they got obsessed with the sign, with the flesh and blood thing, with eating and drinking, and Jesus saying, eat me. You know, like, that's gross. What is this, vampirism? But they missed the point that what people really need, at the core of their being more than anything else, is they need God and they need Jesus. We were made for it. You hunger for it. You thirst for it. And every other hunger and thirst and desire that you have in life is just a sign that points to the reality. And as gross as this sign might be, think about all of the greatest things in your life and how those are just like a sign that point beyond themselves. Don't settle for this when you can have what the sign points to.